Hello friends, I'm not Jim Nance. I don't play Jim Nance on TV, and I'm getting a little bit irritated with receiving his bills for Verizon. The video that I am doing today for you is a video on a baseball sim that you may not know about. It's called PLAYBALL, and it is produced by Greg Sovan. And he, of course, is the creator of Fall Classic Baseball. If you go to his website that I will link below in the description for this video, you can find all of the ordering information. I don't work for them, and I'm just passing this along to you as an option for your baseball sim enjoyment that you may not know about, but I think is worth a look. The other thing that's very impressive is that you can get a PDF of the game and even a set of cards that I'm going to show you for free. That's right, gratis. So you can try this game out free of charge just for the cost of your printer paper, or you don't even have to print it if you don't want to. You can just work off your laptop. What I'm going to do here today is to show you the game, how it works, and what the cards look like, and do a few innings of a game for you so you can get a sense of what gameplay is like. And then I'll do some more innings of the same game. We'll finish the game in tomorrow's video. So that you can kind of finish out getting the sense of what play ball baseball is like. The set that I have and that I'll be using that you can get for free is a franchise all-stars set. It has more than 25 players per team. There is an extra players 2 extra player files that add on to the players for each team, so you end up around 30, in some cases more than 30. There are some combined teams for the expansion teams. The recent expansion teams were combined, but some of the older teams, the original teams, the charter members of each league, some of them have more than one team. In fact, most of them have 2 teams. Some of them, the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers, and I think 1 or 2 others have 3 teams to cover their franchise history. So there's a lot of great players in the set. You can find, I'm sure, most of your favorites here. So let's take a look at the game and what it has to offer you by starting out with a look at the cards. Let's do that
Start
first.
with the pitcher's cards. The whole game has a very unique design to it. There's 2 ways you can go with the pitcher cards. The small cards have the pitcher batting information on it. If the pitcher has stats from a particular season, as for example Jerry Koosman does in this card, then you get a card based on those stats. If not, you get a card based on sort of a generic pitcher hitting stats, and that's what Teddy Higuera has for his 1986 season. All of the information that you need as far as pitching goes is listed in green on the small card in the right column. Or you can opt for the tall card, and you can see how it's about, a couple inches longer than the basic short card. The tall cards have pitcher stats here. The short cards have pitcher stats down there. These are the important game numbers here. And then for the more recent editions of the seasons produced for PLAYBALL, you get all of the defensive numbers that you get right here on the lower part of the tall card. So what happens is that the team that you're facing, you can put their lineup right below and have everything that you need right there in front of you to roll your dice. Everything in Play Ball Baseball is keyed off of the batter's card, but is impacted by the ratings for the pitcher here. So the outcomes that you roll here will have some additions or subtractions based on either the pitcher's rating, or if it's in these two columns, or the defensive rating if it's a roll from 71 to 83 or, 83 or 4. And then all of these in the first column are just based on the batter's results and, of course, the handedness of the pitcher. The game does have splits, so you'll see that on the batter's results. So the numbers 11 through 28 are based on the batter's stats and performance. The pitcher's impact comes in on rolls 31 to 68. The defensive impact comes in on rolls 71 to 84, and then you get some different effects here. 85 is a wild pitch chance. 86 is a home field advantage chance impact. 87 is a ballpark check and impact, and then 88 is a rare play, crazy play type of listing. All of your defensive ratings are listed in green along the right column. You get arm, range, the sort of an odd error chance, and then in the last two, actually, your error chance, and then an odd error chance in the fourth one. So arm, range, error, and then odd error in the bottom. Runner speed is up here. Stolen base attempts, stolen base percentage safe, which way did they bat, left, right, or both, a sacrifice hit rating, and an injury rating. And then the year, how old he was in this particular season. This is the franchise all-star set, so you can see here we're talking about for Reyes 2007. All right, so if you look at the pitcher, in this case, Ted Higuera, we're talking about in Play Ball Baseball a D8 system. So you get 2 D8s, and that's what you're rolling. And the vast majority of outcomes are going to be resolved in just one roll. So, maybe before we do that, we should look at the charts that you need to be able to play the game. Let's do that now. Just a few really important pages that you need to print for the game. It's not paper heavy. There is a quick reference chart 1, QRC 1, that includes a lot of your information here for the symbols that you will see on the card. So, for example, it's almost a glossary for what you need on the card. So, for example, if you, let's look on Jenkins' card here, K. All right, so what does K mean? Well, for Play Ball Baseball, K means strikeout. If you look here at SC7/K, what does all that mean? Well, the blue tells you that the pitcher impacts the outcome. So to do this, let's suppose that we had Jerry Koosman facing Jeff... Let's do the tall one. Let's suppose that we had Jerry Koosman facing Jeff Jenkins, and our roll was a 37. All right, so we're in the columns where the pitcher affects the outcome. And we know that also because everything in blue, the pitcher's rating impacts. So if you roll a 37, you see an SC7/K. All right. So the key number that you need to know in play ball baseball is 9. Just like in regular baseball, 9 being a very important number. So SC7 is Jenkins' total here, 7. You add that, this is a hit chance. You add that to the pitcher's hit number, which is 3, and that makes 10. So if you're 9 or better, that event will happen. SC7 gets you to 10, 7 plus 3 getting 10, which means that the SC, the event before the slash, happens. SC on the chart tells us single to center. So Jeff Jenkins on a roll of a 37 against Jerry Koosman gets a single to center. If he didn't, let's suppose, just for grins, that Jeff Jenkins in this at-bat was instead facing Tom Seaver. Yeah, let's not do Seaver. Let's do Armando Benitez, Mets closer from one of their World Series teams. Let's suppose we had that same roll, 37, on Jenkins' card, SC7. So we know Jenkins' number is 7 on this roll for the single to center. We look to Benitez' result, and it's a -1. That knocks the number back to a 6. That's less than 9, so this event does not happen. What happens is the event after the slash, and that's a K. So instead of Jenkins getting a single, if Armando Benitez was the pitcher, he would get a K. So you can see how the pitcher and the batters interact, to use a very hackneyed term, in the game. Every different rating is like that. So we have a pitcher's walk rating of 6. So let's change our roll. Let's suppose that our roll was a 67 for Jenkins, and he's facing Benitez. Walk 7. So 7 is Jenkins' number. You add that to Benitez's number. That's a 13. And that means Jenkins does draw the walk. If he didn't, what happens? There's nothing after the slash. Good question, my friends. Excellent question. What happens is you look to the quick reference chart, and we'd look at 67. And this would be a ground ball back to the pitcher with a double play possibility if it was in order. So there is a list of outcomes on the quick reference chart that tells you what happens in the event that the batter event does not happen that was rolled on his card. All right. Now let's look at defense. Let's go back to Koosman facing Jenkins. And let's suppose that the number that we roll is, let's do a 73. All right. So we roll on our dice. There's our 73. And it's a ground ball, single, 3. So we have a range check. We get to the kitchen. I smell gas. It's a range check. Oh my God, we're going to explode. All right, so we're doing a range check. Now, for the purposes of this range check and for amusement, we're going to say Dave Kingman is our first baseman. All right, now, To figure this out, we look at the range of the defender. Kingman's range that you will see here as a first baseman, note the 3, that's his position in this example. His range is a 5. That's not very good, but he's at first. All right, he's got the glove on his hand. So we have a ground, we rolled a 73 on Jenkins' card. We have a ground ball, maybe a single, but hit toward Kingman. Our number is a 3. We add that to Kingman's range of a 5, and we get 8. Does that meet 9 or better? No, it doesn't. So somehow Kingman makes this play, staggers to first and steps on it, and retires Jenkins. That's how easy a range play is. Now notice all of your positions for a potential range play are indicated here by the second number. 71 is for the pitcher, 72 is for the catcher, 73 is at first, 74 is at second, 75 is at third, 76 is to short, 77 is to left, 78 is to center, 81, 81, add them together, you get 9, that's your right fielder. Every position gets a potential range check on every batter card. All right. Then 82, 83, 84, 85 are different types of misplay checks. Strikeout and then a possible error on 82. 83 is a straight up sort of anonymous error. We're going to look at that. 84 is a pass ball check. 85 is a wild pitch check. All right, so Kingman, let's suppose that we roll, instead of the 73, let's say we roll an 83. Now we have an error check at first base. Error checks in the game are very easy. You go back to Kingman's defense, but now look what happens. You look at his error line, You look at his error line here, and you see that his number for errors is an 8. Well, if the key number in the game is a 9, all you're going to need is a 1 here. Although you wouldn't have a 1 because this tells you the position. So it's an E3 telling you first you're checking the error at first base. To complete the error check, you roll the D8 and you add it to the error number on the card. It's a 3 that I rolled, so you add it to Kingman's 8. Does that meet 9 or better? Yes, it does, and that means the event happens. It's an E3, and Jenkins is going to reach base. So what have we shown you? We've shown you the hitter column. We've shown you the 2 pitcher columns. We've shown you how the defense works. You get kind of the general way that it works now, for the mechanic works for the game engine. You know that the quick reference chart is going to be important, so you have kind of a glossary of what might happen. There is a full walkthrough of an entire batter's card provided for you, which is really helpful when you're first learning the game. Right here, it gives you a description of what each of these numbers means. Very helpful. I have this sheet handy when I'm doing a game. It's got offensive play calling, hit and run, sack, bunt, suicide, squeeze, all that stuff for reminders. But you don't really need it once you play enough games. This is the quick reference chart 2, which tells you what happens if the events don't happen on 71 to 85 or 86 to 88. So if we go back to Jenkins' card, anything here that doesn't happen for an event doesn't get to 9 or better. This gives you your defaults. Again, you learn these really quickly, but it's a handy sheet to have. And when you first get the game, one of the first pages that you print is this on your PDF, which tells you how to start the game. You can almost start rolling immediately after you print. There are pages with more information on them that you can look at, but these are really reference pages. There's not really anything here that's critical that you look at before you start to play, other than what I've showed you. All right, there's one other thing I want to point out to you, and that is the team defense chart. So we're going to take a look at those. I have this one printed. This is for the St. Louis Cardinals. The entire roster is here for their great team. Left fielder, center fielder, right fielder. So this can be a handy resource for you if you don't want to flip through the cards to find defensive ratings, for example. Or down here, if you're looking for pitcher ratings, all the pitcher ratings are here along with their stats. It's a nice sheet. It's very handy. But the critical part about the sheet is it gives you the ballpark effects. So you have when a ballpark effect is called for, and that's on number 87. If you roll an 87, you get the park effect. For a right-handed batter, you roll your D8, and you get these outcomes. You roll, if the batter's left-handed, you roll this, your D8, and you look at this chart, and you're done. Or you can avoid using this altogether if you want. And the way that you do that, every team has, now let me find it for this one, of course, not at my fingertips. Here we go. Every team has an extra long card. And this is what it looks like. It's blank. And as you print out your PDFs, you're going to be able to have a card on which to make some notes for yourself for that team. It's a handy thing to have. And what you could do is to write your ballpark effects onto your extra long card, and you'd never need to look at this sheet if you didn't want to. The vast majority of information that you need for this game is kept on the cards themselves. And as you memorize what some of these symbols mean, you'll look at the sheets even less. All right, so let's go to play a few innings of play ball baseball. All right, your lineups look like this. Leading off for the Mets, Jose Reyes at shortstop, Edgardo Alfonso at second base, David Wright at third base, batting third, Mike Piazza batting cleanup. He's the DH. Kevin McReynolds will bat fifth in center field. Batting sixth in right field, Carlos Beltran. Batting seventh in left field, Cleon Jones. Batting eighth at first base, Dave Kingman. And batting ninth behind the plate, it's Jerry Grody. On the mound is Jerry Koosman over here. For the Brewers, Paul Molitor leads off at second base. Robin Yount bats second at short. Christian Yelich bats third in right field. Prince Fielder bats fourth at first base. Ryan Braun bats fifth in left field. Jeff Cirillo bats sixth at third base. Gorman Thomas bats seventh in center field. Rob Deere will bat eighth and be the DH. And Jonathan Lucroy will bat ninth and do the catching. On the mound is Higuera for the Brewers. All right, so we're going to start with the Mets. I'm going to use the tall pitcher cards, and we're going to walk through kind of what each outcome is as we go. I'm going to go a little bit slow so you can pick up everything that's happening here on our rolls. So we'll talk through the outcomes for each batter. We've got the pitcher result or the pitcher numbers visible here for you to see. All right, so here we go. And roll 62 gets us started for Reyes. It's in this middle column, the pitcher column. We have a W2, which is a walk 2. All right, and we look now at Higuera's number, which is a pitcher walk number is 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So the event of the walk is not going to happen. So now we look at our quick reference chart at the number 62. 62 is a F7X. F7X, the F7 is just like you would expect on a scorecard. Fly out to left field, and the X means that the runners do not advance if there are any on base. But there aren't any because this is the first batter of the game, so Reyes is out on a fly ball to left field. That's all you do. Here's Edgardo Alfonso for the Mets. 35 is his number. Single SL5, single to left 5. So this could be a single to left. His number is a 5. We add that to Higuera's number of a 3. That makes 8. That's still below a 9. And so we have the event does not happen. So we go and we look on the quick reference chart at the 35, because that's what we rolled, and we get an outcome of F7X. Fly ball, left field, X, no base runner advancement, and there's 2 outs. So both Reyes and Alfonso fly out to left. Now it's David Wright. All right, so we have a 55. We're in the pitcher's sort of zone here. So it's a K5, which K meaning strikeout. 5 is Wright's number. So now to do this, you look at Higuera's strikeout number. His strikeout number is a 7. So 5 plus the 7 makes 12. That exceeds 9, and that means the event happens. Higuera strikes out Wright, and that's 3 outs in the Mets first. That's how you play ball. Let's do the bottom of the first. Here come the Brewers, and they'll be facing Jerry Koosman. So Molitor is up. We're using our tall pitcher card so we can see Koosman's numbers right there. And now we roll for Molitor. It's a 77. 77 tells us we're doing a defensive check of some kind. This is a range check. So 7 is, you can say, I hope you can see that the 7 is in green. So that tells you when you're doing this that it's going to be hit towards Cleon Jones in left field. Cleon Jones in left field, we have to check his range number. Get to the kitchen. Oh my God, it's a range. I smell gas. It's a range check. All right, now, so we look at Jones's number, or, in fact, you know what? Let's do it the easy way. Let's slide down Koosman's card here. All of your defensive ranges are right here. You don't have to look at the cards. We know Cleon Jones is our left fielder. We look at his range. It's a 2. All right, so we come back to Molitor. 77. Single to left, 5. So we take Jones's rating of 2. We add it to the 5 because we're in the defense column. That's a 7. The event does not happen because it doesn't meet 9 or more. And so Jones passes the range check and makes the catch on Molitor's bid for a base hit. 1 gone in the Brewer first. Now it's Yount. 28. P3X. Now this is all batter stuff. Nothing, no ratings affect this. All right, so P3X. What does that mean? Well, the P tells us it's a pop-up. 3 tells us it's a first baseman. X tells us there's no advance. So Yount pops it up. Kingman is under it. staggers a little bit, but catches it, doesn't fall down, and then, because he caught it, the runners don't advance. X, meaning the lack of advance. So pop out to the first baseman, X, no advance. Now it's Yelich. 2 outs, nobody on. 75. Okay, we're back in the defense column. The 5, again in green, if you can see that, tells us that it's hit to the third baseman. So it's a ground ball to the third baseman, and it's a bid for a single to left. Obviously, it's a ground ball to the third baseman. If it gets by him, it's a single to left. The number is a 2. David Wright is our third baseman today for the Mets. We look at his range, it's a 6. All right. So the 6 on his range column is added to the 2, that's an 8. And so it's less than 9, so David Wright makes the play, fires to Kingman at first, who holds on, and that's 3 outs in the Brewer first. All right, next we have the Mets second. So 1, 2, 3 innings in the first for both ball clubs. All right, next is Piazza facing Higuera. And I'm dropping dice left and right. All right. Here's Piazza's roll. It's a 67. 67 is a walk chance of a 7. Add that to Higuera's 2, that makes 9. 9 or better means the event happens, so Piazza draws a walk. We have our first base runner. He goes down to first. Now it's McReynolds. 67. Walk 7 plus. All right. We add that to Higuera's 2. It's another walk. If the second base was open, it would also be a chance if you're doing auto steals for a stolen base. That's what the plus tells us. But it's not open because Piazza's down there, so we have 2 walks to start out the second inning. Now it's Beltran. 31 for Carlos Beltran. Okay. SR1 or a K. SR is single to right. How do we know that? Well, it's a little bit intuitive, but you also have the glossary here. You can look it up. On the quick reference chart 1, the QRC1, SR single to right. All right. The number that you have, we're in the pitcher's area now. These 2 columns are for the pitcher. So the SR1 is added to the pitcher's hit number, which is 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. That's well below 9. Now in this case, we have a slash line and a K that follows it. So we do not look at the quick reference chart to see what happened. Instead, if the event doesn't happen, we take the K, and so Higuera strikes out Beltran, and there's 1 gone in the second. Piazza still at second. McReynolds still at first. Now it's Cleon Jones. 65 is his number. It's a walk 5 plus. So if he reaches and the next base is open, it'll be another opportunity for an auto steal if you're using those, but you don't have to. We'll talk about those in the next video, how to do strategy stuff. Here, walk 5 is added because we're in the pitcher columns. We're adding it to Higuera's walk number of 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. That's below a 9, so that event doesn't happen. So now we look at a 65 on the quick reference chart and see what happens there. Okay, now this is a split. So you can see what happens here. If it's a left-handed batter, we're on the left side of the split. If it's a right-handed batter, we're on the right side of the split. If the batter card has a C, this tells us the DP turns into a fielder's choice. Well, there is no C here. So it's not a fielder's choice. Beltran is, or was, a right-hand, I'm sorry, he's not a, here he is, he's a switch hitter. He bats right against Higuera because Higuera is a lefty. So we're going to look on the right side of the slash. Ground ball third, double play if you can get it. So Beltran, not Beltran, Jones. Are you confused yet? I am. So if Jones is up, here we go, 65, W5, plus Higuera's 2 makes 7. That's still below the 9. So we have no other indicator there. So we have a 65. Ground ball to third, double play if you can get it. So Jones hits it to Cirillo. Cirillo goes to Molitor for 1, and the relay to fielder is in time for a rally-killing, soul-crushing 5-4-3 double play. So let's review what we did here. 65, we checked for the walk. It's not a walk because it's only a 7. 5 plus 2 is the 7. We came down here and we looked at the 65 on the right side of the slash because Jones is a right-handed batter. G5 DP. There was a DP chance, and they turned it. That ends the second inning for the Mets. Now let's look at the Brewers' second inning. It's fielder, Braun, and Cirillo against Koosman. All right, 85. We haven't done one of these yet. 85 is a WP. It's a wild pitch check. Now, there's nobody on base, but let's do one anyway. For a wild pitch check, the way this works is if there's somebody on base, you look at his wild pitch number. In this case, it's a 2 for Koosman. You roll a D8. It's a 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. It's not a wild pitch because it doesn't equal 9 or more. So what happens? We take the second outcome, L6. It's a line out to short, and that would be the result of the play. That's how you do a wild pitch check. Next, it's Braun. 57, K7. All right, so it's a chance for a strikeout. We got the pitcher's rating impacting it here. K7 plus Koosman's strikeout number is a 4. That makes 11. That means Braun strikes out. We take the event. Cirillo is up next. 77, 7 in green tells us it's going to left field. It's a single chance. Single to left, but maybe Cleon Jones can catch it. We come back to Cleon Jones' range number. It's a 2. 5 plus 2 makes 7. So the single event will not happen. Cleon Jones is going to make the catch, and the Brewers are retired in the second. 1, 2, 3. Boom. That is how you play ball baseball. Come on back tomorrow. We'll do innings 3 through 9 on our game. We have no score in the game so far. Thank you for joining me. This is Play Ball Baseball. Check out the website. I'll link it below in the description for this video. Thanks for being with me. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel. I need your subscriptions to keep my channel going, my friends. Have a wonderful day. So long, everybody.